Welcome to Fireteam Chat, IGN's Destiny show. Hi, everybody. Brian, we're launching a little bit late this week.
Oh, well.
No. I actually want to apologize to everybody.
No.
I got a lot of responses on Twitter and everything. We thought that something from Destiny might launch during PSX, so we waited, and I kind of regret that decision now. Thank you for being so patient.
But there's still a lot of good news that came out of it.
True. We should also introduce our guest. This is Datto.
Hello.
Datto is joining us once again on the show. Datto, you've been on the show a few times. Thank you for joining us again. It was good seeing you this weekend, actually.
Yeah, very, very nice surprise.
It's always brief, but yeah, very nice.
Yeah.
Today, we're going to be talking about Sparrow Racing and some thoughts on it. We're going to talk about the Titan nerf, and we're going to talk about challenge mode. There's a lot to talk about, so I don't want to delay too long. So we're going to get right into it. Sparrow Racing. So off the top of the show, how do you feel about it, Brian? You've seen it. You didn't get to play it. We played it. So as an outsider who we didn't let come to PSX with us and play the new mode, what do you think?
It's going to be a nice little thing until we get something next. That's it.
Yeah.
I'm not like super excited for it. I don't think it's going to add too much to the game, but I've never been one for racing games anyway, so this isn't going to make too much of a difference for me in the game. Mm-hmm. But it's nice that they're adding it because I know a lot of people have been asking for it ever since we first got on the Sparrow, so yeah, it'd be cool.
So, Datto, I'll come to you in just a second, but when it was announced during the conference, I was kind of like, cool, where's the real announcement? Like, where's the new mission, or where's the DLC coming? I was kind of surprised that it was just Sparrow Racing, but at the same time, I was like, oh, this is really cool. They're listening to the community. The community's asked for this forever. I thought it was a smaller announcement than I thought. It was just like the next Festival of the Lost event.
Right.
Datto, how did you feel?
Yeah, basically the same as you guys. You know, I think Sparrow Racing itself is cool. Mm-hmm. But, you know, just like you, I was just like, all right, Sparrow Racing, and?
Yeah, right. ...
And where's the other stuff? So, you know, I know Sparrow Racing is getting a little bit of flack, I think, for the wrong reasons. Like, Sparrow Racing itself is getting a lot of flack because it was the only thing announced. And, you know, I think you should at least judge Sparrow Racing itself as its own entity. But I can totally understand, you know, people being like, Where's everything else?
Right.
Where's all this stuff?
Definitely.
But you know, I think it'll be a good activity. It's a good thing. It's good and bad depending on how you look at it. That it's only around for 3 weeks, because I think they can easily turn it into an Iron Banner style like event.
Definitely.
In the future. You know, Iron Banner this week, then next week got Sparrow Racing, and then maybe in the future, you know, you have these like maybe month and a half rotations of these special events coming around every once in a while. So
yeah,
who knows?
You actually played it. What do you think about just how it feels?
It feels really good. I mean, they didn't change anything about the Sparrows at all. They still control the same way. And you know, everyone thinks they know how to ride a Sparrow pretty well. Mm-hmm. But once you get into these races and you kind of mess with like the boost gates and all the turnings and the obstacles and stuff, you know, it's like, oh, all right, I got to change things up a little bit. Mm-hmm. You know, I got to mess with some stuff. But overall, I mean, it felt exactly how I thought something like this would feel. You know, it's Sparrow Racing, and it's done very, very well. It's very simple format, and it's honestly, it's probably one of the most balanced things in the game.
Yeah.
Or that will be in the game.
Until they finally add weapons to the Sparrows.
Right,
Sparrow
exactly.
Racing.
Yeah. I really want like a boost, like power up or something that you could get, but I understand why they didn't do that. It's so everybody's like able to go the same speed, and it's really just about driving better than the other player.
Right.
They don't want to make it too much like Mario Kart.
The thing that I liked about the boost gates is that if you're in first place and you're really, really good and you're hitting every single gate, you're going to stay in first place, which is nice for those people who are really good. You show that they're going to stay in first place.
Yeah.
But if you are missing those gates, then people do have a chance to actually catch up to you, which is, you know, it's nice to have like a glimmer of hope if the person in front of you is messing up.
Definitely. My experience with it at PSX was like I was way behind Sean like a whole match, but then I like figured out the driving mechanics, and I really like honed in on those gates and hitting all of them, and I actually managed to catch him like at the very end of the match, so it was like a really, really close race. And I passed him, and our times were like 57 seconds and 58 seconds. Like, it was super, super close.
Like milliseconds.
Yeah, the races can stay pretty close, which is nice.
It was really fun. I do want to discuss some of the distressing things that you actually discovered. Why don't you talk a little bit about the silver and how that's going to come into play?
Right. So when this event goes live, Tess is going to be selling Sparrow. She's going to be selling horns, which I don't think anyone is like crazy about the horns. And she's also going to be selling a book. And so the Sparrow that you can buy is cosmetic. It's not better than anything that you can earn in the game. In fact, completing the first quest from Amanda Holiday gets you a Sparrow that is equal to the Sparrows that Tess is selling, which are also equal to everything else in the game. Mm-hmm. So it's purely cosmetic. Costs 500 silver. Okay.
To buy the cool looking ones, right?
For the super cool looking ones. Mm-hmm. But my problem with that is that they're random. You're not like going to like a roster of Sparrows and be like, oh, I really like how that one looks. Oh, the flames look nice, or oh, the electricity around this one is cool. Mm-hmm. It's a completely random one, and I think that's going to turn off a lot of people from maybe wanting to invest in a Sparrow if they don't know which one they're going to get. Maybe not everyone is too happy about getting a hot pink colored Sparrow, you know?
The randomness aspect of it is really bothers me, because like with the Festival of the Lost, I spent $40 on just buying the packs to make a video for IGN, and I never got 2 of the masks to complete the quests. I didn't get the quest specific masks, which is all I needed. So then I'm like, okay, I'm not spending anymore. I'm going to do the quest to get the candy. I just never got those. I never got the Cryptarch mask, so I couldn't finish the quest. And it's kind of strange that they allow you to spend money. That's cool, but like you have all the dance emotes and you can pick and choose which ones you want, but you can't buy quest specific items. And now they're making you pay 500 silver, which is $5, right?
Mm-hmm. About.
Yeah, which is about $5 to randomly get a Sparrow. So
yeah, and see, the thing is, I feel like they would make even more money if that is the goal, which I mean, it probably is to make some amount of money if they let people choose their Sparrow, because you're going to have way more people willing to, spend 500 silver on a Sparrow that they find really, really cool, as opposed to being like, oh, I have to gamble to maybe get the one that I get. Screw that.
Yeah,
no way.
It's a tactic that I really don't like. Like, I'm pretty unhappy that they implemented it, but even more so, I have a problem with how the book that's $10.
What is the
$10?
Datto, why don't you tell us what this book is exactly?
Yeah, so the book itself is a cool thing. It tracks, maybe like fastest lap times. It tracks your best overall time, how many tricks you've done,
and there's quests tied to it, correct?
They're not so much quests. They're just additional objectives. So in the book, you have additional objectives like complete the match in, or complete a race in like under 5 minutes or something like that. Do 100 total tricks, play 50 total races, or, I'm just giving examples.
Yeah.
Some of those have cosmetic Sparrow gear linked to them. This Sparrow gear is the same in terms of bonuses that you can get from any of the other legendary Sparrow armor pieces that you can get in the game. So it's strictly a cosmetic thing. If you want a cool looking racing suit, you can do those things. So they're not so much quests. It's just like when you happen to get when you get that under 5 minute time, you hit the little checkbox and it gives like, yeah, you completed some part of the book. I don't know if there's a reward for completing 100% of the book. That's like one of the few things I couldn't find out. But there are, there's a bunch of armor pieces within these little challenges. There's a shader, and then there's also a Sparrow.
And sorry to interrupt you, but the reason the book really bothers me is because this is a limited time event. So you're paying $10 for something they're literally going to take away from you, which is kind of mind-boggling that they would do that.
I think for a now thing, right? Because if it gets popular enough, then they're going to bring it back. But
yeah, they'll bring it back, but for now, they've only said we're doing it for 3 weeks.
What I don't like is that they're hiding your stats behind a paywall.
That's
That
what I don't
too.
like.
That
as well.
doesn't make sense because you have all these stats that you want to track, but you have to pay for those stats.
Yeah,
It doesn't-
that's the one thing that I think should have been handled a little bit differently. Is like people like knowing their stats. Like this is obviously a game where it's like, oh yeah, what was your best lap time? Oh, let me just check the book.
Yeah.
You know, what was your best total time, and you know, how many gates have you hit in one match, and all that and that kind of stuff. And you know, those stats are cool. So I think something along the lines of like just giving everyone the book, but then hiding the legendary Sparrow gear behind a paywall, that would be a little bit more acceptable because people like those stats, and I think
if they
those
let you
stats
pick
should
the
be widely.
Sparrows.
Now let's see how long it takes until
Yeah.
the community makes a website that tracks your stats.
Oh, I'm sure there's
Destiny Tracker
already one
probably.
up
Destiny
right
Tracker is
now.
going to make something for us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It should be noted that we're recording this actually before the drop. We are recording this Fireteam Chat a little bit early because we delayed our show from Friday to Monday. So next week we could revisit this actually with a little bit more information. But for now, Datto, good catch on going to test in the tower at PSX this weekend.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they invited us to the tower, and me being me and everyone else being everybody else, you know, just picking apart every single little detail. I must have annoyed the crap out of the live team asking all these very
definitely.
specific questions because I knew that there were going to be people asking like these really, really specific things. So I was just like, give me everything you got. I want to know everything. I want this 100% right.
Fun fact, they didn't let us go to the tower at all.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so they were just like, what do you think of racing? Oh, it's cool. All right, bye.
Oh, all right. Yeah.
So I'm glad you were able to experience that and capture it so that we have an idea of what to expect. Also, it should be noted that that experience probably isn't final, so we're going to see tomorrow what it looks like.
Right. They could make some stealth changes that we don't know about. We don't know until it goes live.
Yeah. Speaking of big changes, the Titan is finally going down. At least the Solar Titan is. I'm pretty excited about this, and I play a Titan. And the reason I'm excited about this is because I love strikers. I love those arc grenades. I'm
very excited as a warlock that this is happening.
Warlock. So the Titan is getting nerfed. Solar Titans specifically. First of all, a positive thing, melee range for all Titans is getting buffed, but Solar Titans, hammer damage resistance reduced 10%, hammer travel speed reduced 1.32%, hammer tracking reduced by 25%, splash damage multiplier reduced by 20%, no more Flameseeker +1 recovery and agility. Firekeeper does get a +1 recovery though, and Cauterize now has a 3-second cooldown. How do you feel about this, Brian, as a warlock?
Well, as I do also play a Titan, but I main a warlock. The melee is nice. That's obviously because no more TRX arms are.
Yeah,
a little bit more.
I'm going to talk about the strikers in just a second and why that gets me super excited. But I totally agree. They did need the melee extension a little bit.
Yeah. This thing I still don't like is Cauterize.
The cooldown?
It has a cooldown, yeah, but the whole thing just sucks. It's terrible.
Yeah.
Just like when he gets a kill and you're just.
Did you have a problem with hungering Blade in year 1 for Blade Dancers?
Yeah, a lot of people made that.
Because that was the exact
comparison.
same thing.
Yeah. Yeah, same issue there.
Yeah.
You did.
Yeah. But I don't see 1.3% to 1.32% changing
Travel speed.
That's I don't think that's gonna be noticeable, right?
I don't know.
I mean, I was fine with the travel speed to begin with. Like how fast they were going wasn't the big problem.
I want to know how they came to that number.
Yeah,
1.32%.
I don't know.
What?
Now I'm worried I made a typo. No, I remember it.
No, it is that much.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
unless they made a typo.
I think they must have play tested it and been like, okay, you can actually get out of the way, maybe.
See, tracking's a good number, 25%. That's going to be noticeable.
Yeah. The splash damage being reduced by 20, that's pretty huge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just don't, I think that's good because, one hammer almost felt like as strong as a Nova Bomb sometimes.
Yeah. And you got 6.
And you get 6. But yeah, that's going to be a huge difference.
Definitely. Are you happy about the nerf data?
I mean, speaking as a Titan, speaking as a player, obviously not, because it's awesome to be a Sunbreaker
monster.
and just hammer the crap out of everybody. But from a realistic point of view, it's fine. I think it's going to be a little bit more balanced. I think Sunbreakers are not going to be as completely trashed as everyone might think they're going to be. Like, oh, Sunbreakers are garbage now. No, they're not. They're still really good. They didn't affect their the duration of it. They didn't affect how many hammers you can throw, which was I think a big worry for a lot of people.
Yeah,
both good and bad worry. So I think it's fine. It's good. I think it needed to happen at some point.
I'm gonna skip over strikers because I'm excited about them. Let's talk really quick about defender melee. Their melee range is improved. Well, that's for all Titans, but their warded dawn, recharge grenade, and melee abilities on supercast, and catapult lift has a faster initial velocity. So that's just kind of a minor note about the defender class. Anything special there that either you guys notice?
I mean, it's just nice because they're getting a boost in some good categories because defenders, in any other PvP, is just not like viable there. But it's gonna be pretty cool.
I like the initial velocity touch. I think that's good.
Yeah.
I just don't know how much 5% is really going to be. I'll definitely play around with it, but it just doesn't seem like it's going to be that game changing, especially with Titan skating being so popular that it is right now. It would need a significant buff, I think, for people to start taking catapult over increased control.
Definitely.
Seeing how passive defender is already, having something that like just gives them something a little more offensive is gonna be kind of nice.
Yeah, it's nice. Just a nice little bonus.
Yeah.
Now, the one I'm really excited about, let's talk Striker Titans. Very, very happy about this. The Striker Titan is my favorite PvP class.
Something I don't see people using much anymore, though.
I actually ran trials last night, and I had a Striker Titan on my team, and he knew how to use it appropriately. Like, somebody pops Sunbreaker, he just nukes them and neutralizes them. And then we had a Night Stalker Hunter who would, the trick is you see somebody pop hammers, you hit them with the bow, and their hammer goes away.
Right.
So that worked really, really well for us. Well, we didn't go 9-0, but we went 8-1, which is still pretty good.
I'm surprised you've ever gone.
Yeah, that's good.
I got carried. Anyway, Striker Titans, Storm Fist, increased base damage, 18.2%. Overload now also provides faster melee charge of 50% buff there. Discharge, additional damage, 7.69%. Also changed AoE to spherical shape. That's interesting. Amplify, increased super energy bonus, 30%. Cool. Passives, Headstrong now also provides faster sprint. Transfusion, improved cooldown, 5 seconds to 3 seconds. Unstoppable now provides a total of +2 armor.
So now they're even more unstoppable.
Yeah, right? It also increases damage resistance by 25%. Juggernaut improves shield health, 14.3%. And Juggernaut now works when airborne. I don't know if Titans got nerfed. I think we're going to see more Striker Titans.
Yeah, I mean, I've never had an issue with the Striker class being OP or anything in PvP. So these changes seem, I don't want to say unnecessary, but I mean, it's going to be fine. It's no nerf like the Sunbreaker. But
Datto, how do you feel about Strikers?
Yeah, it's great. I mean, Strikers really weren't super popular until probably about Trials of Osiris because they're a great shutdown subclass. Like Sunsinger pops up, cut him down. Blade Dancer's coming in, shut them down.
Yeah.
So it's always been great in that aspect, and they have a very, very good kit surrounding them. They have lightning grenades, they have shoulder charge, all these extra little bonuses to really round out their kit. And I think this is just going to help it. And I think, Headstrong now providing faster sprint is going to be it's a pretty good choice for people who really like that Titan skating, which is just becoming more and more popular. You're going to see Titans zipping around the map, especially with Mida coming back. So the bonus agility on that. Headstrong on top of this, full agility build, they're going to be flying.
Now, give me Armamentarium year 2, please.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm sure
it's going to be great. I mean, I loved having double lightning nades,
Yeah, me
especially
too. Because you could lock down a section of the map, like they cannot come through this area now because I have my lightning grenades laid out just right.
Yeah, and it does a ton of damage. It's great for those objective-based game modes, which I really enjoy. And they're also very, very good for trials, for scaring people off. because it's such a big burst of damage. So Armamentarium year 2, bravo.
Yeah.
Can't wait.
Yeah, nobody's gotten that yet, right? Like that's not available
No.
anywhere.
Part of the game? I don't think it's part of the game.
No,
No.
it's just they farmed out a bunch of data of all these year 2 exotics that are coming back, and Armamentarium's on the list.
But then Bungie's like, those data minings aren't
Yeah, exactly.
100% accurate.
Exactly. We're hoping. We're hoping.
Yeah.
All right. So overall, I feel good about the Titans being nerfed in the solar aspect. I'm really excited about the Striker Titans, and
Glad to see him make a
I'm
comeback.
pretty neutral on the Defender.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
You were
I don't think there's anything unreasonable here.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I think everything here is very, very reasonable.
I hope it balances like everything out in multiplayer. Honestly, like that's my biggest hope. I'm surprised nobody's complained about Warlocks with the lightning, because they seem pretty strong too. Like
They are.
they're
It's
really
just
easy
that
to kill, though. I mean, it's
yeah, their armor
get us from
doesn't
across
get a
the map.
buff.
We
That's
don't
what
get
it
it.
is. Yeah.
they're easier to kill. But I think it's that Sunbreakers were so strong whenever they popped their super that everyone just focused all their attention on them.
Yeah.
Yeah. You hear that noise, you get a little scared.
Tink, run.
Yeah. Stormcaller lasts a long time if you spec for it, like
Oh,
over
yeah.
20 seconds.
Transcendence
And
is
when
nice.
used correctly, like not just running into a group of enemies and hoping to landfall them, if you get a good activation, you're just basically as unstoppable as a Sunbreaker Titan. I just don't think people have really come to terms with that yet. And I think maybe with the Sunbreaker nerf, you might see a little bit more complaining about Stormcallers coming in now.
Yeah.
But
We'll see.
You know.
It'll all balance out.
yeah, we'll see.
Moving on to our final topic, we're going to talk about challenge mode. Now, Datto, what is challenge mode, and what was your issue with it?
All right. So challenge mode is basically every week a certain boss is going to have a challenge. It's going to say on normal or hard mode, whenever you pick King's Fall, it's going to say you have been challenged. And it'll say like War Priest challenge, it'll say Golgoroth challenge, it'll say Oryx challenge. So me and a lot of my, clanmates and a lot of my other peers being, upper tier players thought that this was actually going to present a challenge to us. We figured that a challenge mode would be geared towards people who have a pretty, good time in hard mode and who are looking for that next step up. Our problem with War Priest was that we did not get that extra step up. And in fact, the War Priest challenge mode was basically the way that probably 80% of groups already do that encounter, which is basically you have a different person use the gaze each time. So I think they really underestimated how long they think that fight actually takes, because most groups I know of and most groups I've been with, even just like taking viewers along with me, have done it in 2 rotations.
Yeah.
So I feel like Bungie thinks that everyone's taking like 3 to 4 rotations on this boss, and that's really not the case.
Right.
So my issue with it was that it wasn't hard enough considering the name of challenge mode. That was my big problem. Secondary problem was that there's 320 loot hidden behind it, right? So that just made me look like the bad guys. Oh, you want loot to be super hard to get. Not so much that. I think most people who cared about challenge mode, who really cared about challenge mode, did not care about the rewards. They just wanted the challenge.
Yeah.
So the difficulty did not match the loot. And now that we know you're guaranteed a 320 item, what desire is there now to run the hard mode raid? Why not just wait for that boss to be the hard mode and then, trade checkpoints?
Yeah.
So I think they completely killed any motivation to go do hard mode as well.
Well, it's still a great way to get your 320 drops.
It totally is.
Very
Not
generously.
disagreeing with that. I was very happy to get a 320 artifact and a 320 Quillums. It was awesome. But yeah, it just kind of killed a lot of motivation for people to go run the hard mode, considering it doesn't really feel like these challenges are going to be that challenging for groups that are already clearing hard mode.
I understand that. Personally, I really enjoyed it. It gave me a reason to... I haven't actually done the hard raid yet. I haven't had too much... I kind of fell off there with Fallout and Rainbow Six and everything. And I'm like, you know what? I haven't done hard mode yet. I'm going to go try it out. So we ran through the beginning part, and we did the War Priest challenge, and it was pretty fun. It was fun to have that extra little thing that you needed to do to complete the boss. And you got big rewards for it. So for me, it gave me a reason to come back to Destiny and play it again with some friends, and I had a really good time.
I felt like for you, since you hadn't done the hard mode yet, that going into War Priest, you were expecting a bigger challenge, and you got that because it was already harder.
I mean, honestly, it wasn't that much more challenging, but I don't have an issue with that.
You're right.
It just adds, for me, challenge mode is just like, we're going to add this little thing that you have to figure out, and people figured it out pretty quickly. And got their big drops for it.
Yeah, because it doesn't really ruin anybody's strategy when they're doing it, because everybody's, like Datto said, it's already people are already running it that way, so there's nothing new going on for most people. But for you were already going into a harder mode, so that challenge was deeper for you. But for people,
not by much, but
not by much, yeah. But for most people who have been running the hard mode raid since it came out, it felt like nothing. What it was.
Over 300,000 people had the emblem by the weekly update,
and that's a lot.
Does that make you jealous though? Like, why is that a problem? Is my question.
It's not so much a problem. It's just that I don't think they should have called it challenge mode, because I think for a lot of people at the higher end, challenge mode implies that some things are going to be just harder, whether it's a new mechanic thrown in, or just the boss has more health, or you do less damage, or something else changes.
I know you've always talked about Datto, like you really want players to like earn those really cool rewards. So do you think that might be just your philosophy on Destiny and the world?
It probably is. I mean, I come from a super hardcore World of Warcraft raiding background. I'm a very, very small percentage of that population. It's not so much earning the gear. It would be nice to do that, but I think that if you're going to offer like the toppest tier of PvE challenges, that 300,000 people sounds like a lot to have it done. Most people didn't even know that they were doing it. I think when you're running a challenge mode within a couple of hours of it being out on LFG sites, it didn't really live up to the name. That was my big problem, is that challenge mode did not live up to the name of challenge mode. Well, that was my big issue.
We have a few minutes left. I know it's probably going to be released shortly after this episode comes out, but what do you think about Golgoroth? What do you think they're going to do there? Any thoughts?
Well, they mentioned in the weekly update that people who do the one orb strat might have a little bit of difficulty, but other than that, they didn't really give us too much, as is expected.
I think you're going to have to use all the orbs.
I think that as well. I'm just not sure how they're going to enforce it. A lot of people are thinking that everyone has to at least get the gaze one time, which would be,
very similar to War Priest. That makes sense.
Right. Exactly. It's along the same lines. The problem is that they can't change the fight, any of the fundamentals of the fight, right? They can't add a mechanic, because then that changes the fight, and it's not something that you can opt into. So it has to be something that you choose to go do during the fight that doesn't change the fight at all. And that's one of the main things that does that, is everyone has to go grab the gaze at least once. Whether it's one person has to grab it in one single rotation, that would be a little bit more challenging for a lot of people. I think that would be an acceptable challenge. But I'm thinking that it's just everyone's going to have to be the focus of Golgoroth's gaze at least one time. But anything that involves using all 6 orbs in one rotation would be, more than welcome. Although for my group, that's typically how we already do it. So
I think that's what they're going to do, because they specifically called out single orb strat, which is pretty easy. They're like, we want you to do the mechanic the way we wanted it to, and this would reinforce that.
If they do end up going with the gaze, everybody having to hold it once, I think that's going to mess with a lot of people's strategies. One being because I have actually never done it. I've played the raid many times, but I've never been gaze holder.
Yeah,
it's a lot of fun. It's fun.
It's not so much. It's not so much that I never didn't think it wasn't going to be fun. It's just like you get comfortable with something, and then that's what you do, and then that's your position in the raid when you have like a specific group that runs it all the time, and you just don't mess that up by going and doing something else. But
yeah,
great. I'm excited to try it out. Thanks, guys, for joining me. I think we're at the end of our show. Datto, thank you so much for joining me, joining us yet again here on Fireteam Chat. Where can people find you?
You can find me over at youtube.com/Datto Does Destiny and on the Twitters at Datto's Destiny.
Brian?
Brian X Bang on Twitter. That's it.
So I've been streaming a lot more lately, and I actually wanted to call out my Twitch channel. It's twitch.tv/The Destin channel, not Destiny, The Destin, as in
how many
me.
people are going to type that in and see if they get something.
And also on YouTube, youtube.com/The Destin channel. So you can find me there. And of course on Twitter, at Destin Legary. I'm on there way too much. So if you ever want to reach out and just have a little chat with me there, you can do so there. Some stuff that we're supposed to do at the end of the show is ask that you review it. Fran typically does this, so I'm going off script and I have no idea
Doing
what to say. Review. He does like the promos at the end. So hey, if you like Fireteam Chat, leave a review on iTunes.
Oh,
Go to ign.com/store. We have T-shirts. I don't know. Thanks.
Buy T-shirts with Destin's face on it.
No. It just says Fireteam Chat. They're actually kind of cool. I like them a lot.
Cool.
Yeah. Datto, thank you again. Brian, thank you again.
My pleasure.
Thank you for having me.
You ready to do the outro?
Oh, yeah, the outro.
All right, here we go. Until next time, Guardians
out.
Wow.
That was bad.
Oh, boy.